FatDag is a Weight Watchers leader in Indianapolis, Indiana. However, the views and opinions expressed during this podcast are his own. They do not represent the views of Weight Watchers. And now, here's your host and wingman, FatDag.
Cheers. I am your host, FatDag. You're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all at Wise Advice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello there. Welcome to episode 271 of Wise Advice. And this episode comes in right after my military retirement. You guys know that 27 years in the Air Force all came to an end on June 28th. Had an amazing celebration. Wingmen from all over the country flew in to be a part of the ceremony. My friends were there. My family was there. I couldn't have asked for a better send-off than what you guys provided. And it was just so cool to be in a room that was just so diverse. There were military members, there were family members, there was wingmen from all over the country. It was just a cool room of people that really ordinarily wouldn't have come together. But we all came together because we have a common goal. We believe that the world needs to be well and that we want to be a part of it. We believe that military service matters and means something, and everybody in that room felt it. Such an amazing day. And so it was just the highlight of my career, obviously, was the most amazing send-off. But I tell you, the piece I did not prepare for, I did not even anticipate would be an issue. Let me back up. I wrote my word. I got to say remarks at the end of my retirement, and I wrote them out because I knew if I stood on stage and ad-libbed, I would bawl like a baby because I have just so much emotional energy tied up in 27 years of military service. And so I had all my remarks were well planned out, and I knew exactly what I was going to say. Even then, it was still difficult at times to keep it under wrap, but the piece I did not anticipate, I wasn't even ready for was I'm standing on stage, and they read the retirement order. And the words, post the order, which in military terms means it's time to make the order official. Right? So they drafted the order. The order was going to retire me. And then all of a sudden, my brother, who happened to be the MC, said, post the order. And the officer was standing there. And next thing you know, they said, on behalf of the President of the United States, all that good stuff, whatever the term was. And it says, you are officially retired. And that was the piece that I was not anticipating. I mean, it's like all of a sudden it was like, it just got real. Like there's no turning back from that. And so that was the piece that kind of choked me up. And but it was comforting to look out into the audience and see so many familiar friends and faces that said, Mike, you got this. This is the right decision for you. Whatever you go from here, wherever you take it, we're with you. We believe in you. We're walking with you every step of the way. So I appreciate every ounce of that. If you did not get a chance to watch the retirement, I did upload it into the Wise Advice app. You can certainly download it there and play it in there. It's about an hour long, I'll warn you. Some say it's a good hour. Some say they can't get through the first 5 minutes. But I want you to know that it's there, and I put my entire remarks pasted in the app as well, so it gives you a chance to kind of to see what I was feeling, to see what I was thinking, and to watch me deliver it if you've never been involved in a military retirement. So many of you sending cards and letters and gifts, and I'm just so overwhelmed by your generosity. I wouldn't say my favorite because that's not fair, but today I opened a gift card to go to Nordstrom from one of the wingmen that sent it in. And Steve, I think you know who you are. But someone sent that in to me today, and I was like, yeah, it's time to go shopping. And nothing could be more true because, right, I don't know what to wear. I've been working from home for the last couple weeks, and I don't put on shoes until it's time to leave the house. In fact, the other day I was getting ready to go to, I forget where I was headed, but I had to leave the house for something, and I literally got all the way to my car, and I'm still wearing my slippers. And for a millisecond, I debated, like, well, could I just wear my slippers anyway? I was going to check the mail. That's what it was. And I said, could I just go? I'm just going to run in and run back out. And I thought better of it. I came back in the house and put on my shoes. But it's getting challenging working from home now that we're doing this. Big plans in store for the podcast. Still, a lot of you have asked the question, what's going on with the podcast? And I know that, we started the show doing a daily episode and we still continue that trend. We do a show every single day, except for the days that we don't. And the days that we don't certainly right now are outnumbering the days that we do, but all of that is coming to a close real soon. I got about 2 or 3 weeks left on this project that I'm working on, and then all of a sudden life frees up for me, and this becomes my passion. This becomes my calling. This becomes the plan, and so everything changes 1 August, and so we're really counting down towards that day. That's the update from the retirement side of things. The next morning, we got up and we walked a 5-mile walk through the city of Indianapolis called the Indy Ultimate. You may remember that from last year. Ended up being about 7 miles, I think, is what most people had on their step trackers, but such an amazing day. And I think the coolest part is, I'm going to give a shout out right now to all the awesome people who did it, but my 72-year-old mom walked the entire thing. I'm so proud of her, and I'm sure she's not listening, but I'm so proud of the work that she did, because a 7-mile walk at 72 years old, that's just a lot of coolness going on right there. So she's certainly doing awesome, but so many other successful wingmen were out there doing the exact same thing. We got a chance to go into Victory Field and run around the bases, and we got a chance to go into Lucas Oil Stadium and kick a field goal, catch a pass that was being thrown by a tire machine. We had a chance to go into the Indy Repertoire Theater. We got into the catacombs downtown underneath Indianapolis. And we just kind of walked around the city. The Army National Guard was there yelling at us, saying, come on, maggots, get up and get going. So we had a blast going through the city of Indianapolis. It was warmer than it was last year. We got rained on last year. Let's go. Go ahead and send a tweet to me. Let me know if you think next year you want rain. Tag me, tag the Indy Ultimate. You want rain or do you want the heat? What is your preference there? I think I know which one I liked better, but be curious to see what you think. You can certainly, like I said, get on Twitter at FatDag and then tag Indiana Sports Corp as well. Let them know you were out there, and we can't wait till the 2020 Indy Ultimate. But we had a good group of folks. The 8:35 starting time represented well, and I'm so proud of every single one of you for starting out there, getting it done, taking care of yourself, deliberately choosing you. That's what this whole journey is about. A lot of times, we talk a lot in social media, and people get hung up on what, what's going right in their lives, and a lot of times we focus on what's not going right. And so what I want you to do in the next, 30 minutes or so as we're going through this show, I want you to think about all the things that you're doing right in life. Ignore the things that you could do better. Ignore the things you're doing wrong. Ignore all that stuff and just focus on, what did I do right today? And even it could be so simple as, I'm just listening to this podcast. If that's all you do, if you're listening right now and you're just uncontrollably eating, that's okay. You're listening to the podcast. It will come around. I want you to celebrate the fact that you have mindfully decided to check in and take care of you. Everything else we can build on. But if you don't start with finding the things you're doing right and doing more of them, then you got to kind of take a minute to do that. So I want you to focus on what are you doing right. Again, shoot it on social media. Let's do that too. What are you doing right? It's important to document and share that. So that's the update. Thank you all for the here. Let's go ahead and dig into the episode. The first email comes in out of Ohio. Diane writes in and says, "Hi, FatDag, help! I'm just ready to scream, and I just hate myself for it. Here's what's happening. I can't stop eating at night. Well, sure, I save points for a nighttime snack, but then it just spirals from there. Every single night. I hit goal last year, but I put on 10 pounds, and I can't move the scale back down because of my late night snacking, and I'm tired of paying WW. Any advice from you or other listeners would be greatly appreciated. Thanks for everything you do, and congratulations on your upcoming retirement. Thanks, Diane." Diane, first of all, screaming is healthy. Go ahead and scream, but hating yourself is not right. So you can scream all you want. You can be frustrated all you want, but there is no reason whatsoever to turn that hate and anger inward towards you. There's not. And so I want you to, first and foremost, I want you to ditch that and say, you know what? I don't hate myself for it. What I do is I love myself for thinking that I want to make a change. That's kind of empowering, and that's kind of powerful when you say, okay, I'm not doing everything perfectly, but man, I'm trying. And I'm thinking about the things that I'm doing right and getting them done. So that's the good thing. You save points for your snack. That's incredible. Great job doing that. Now what we have to do is we have to find a snack that sustains you and keeps you from going too far down the path late at night. Protein certainly does that, but I think a lot of times when we have this late night snacking, especially when you emphasized it was every single night, my suspicion is more than anything is that's a habit. That has nothing to do with hunger. It has a lot to do with boredom and the habits that you've set in place for your life. So what I want you to do is I want you to find an activity that you normally do during the day, and I want you to reserve it for the evening time when you're snacking. So let's go. If you snack from, I'm just going to make it up here. I'm putting words into your email. But if you're having trouble snacking from 8 to 9 or from 8 to 10, let's just say, then what I want you to do is the 2 hours before that, no social media, no Connect, no Facebook, no Instagram. And you do something else. You go for a walk. You read a book. You watch TV. Whatever it is that you enjoy. Then the hours that you have uncontrollable snacking, that's when you now pick up the new habit of, okay, now I'm going to check in on social media for the next hour or whatever you do. So you got to break the routine that you're in. The routine that you're in, the habits that you have lead you here. I want you to develop new habits that lead you to new places. And the only way to do that is to shake it up. And so find something that you're doing constantly during the day that's a habit for you and move that to a completely different time slot in your day. Rather than saying the kitchen's closed after 7, why don't you say the iPhone is closed after 5? The iPhone is closed between 5 and 8, right? So from between 5 and 8, no cell phone usage. I'm just making this up as I go here, but between 5 and 8, no cell phone usage. And then all of a sudden 8 o'clock comes, you can pick your phone back up. That'll probably stop you from snacking because you got 4 hours worth of posts to catch up on, likes and comments. But I want you to celebrate that piece of it and say, I'm doing something right by thinking about it. You clearly know what's going on. You hit goal last year. Right? You don't hit goal on accident. There's no way in this world you can do that accidentally. You deliberately chose to make a plan. You deliberately chose to follow the plan, and you actually went and got it done. So there was a period of time when you had that mindset of I'm doing this because it's the most important thing to me. When you got to goal, then all of a sudden what you tried to do is you tried to balance your new life with your old life, and you tried to bring some of that back, and it doesn't work that easily. It certainly is, and you can balance some things, but now having put 10 pounds back on, we know how to move the scale, and moving the scale is just reassessing, looking at what you're eating, the quality and the quantity of your food, and making the best choice possible. So thanks for your note. Thanks for the well wishes on my not my upcoming retirement now, but my actual retirement. It was a blast. And so again, as I said in the opening of the show, the wingman made the whole thing awesome. So thank you for that. So Diane, you got this. You totally got this. I believe in you. 100%, hands down, believe in you. Got it. Send an email back in. Tell me how awesome you are now that you've got it done. This next email here comes out of Memphis, Tennessee. Stacy writes, "This is hi FatDag. I joined WW June of 2017, weighing in at 300.4 pounds. Over the next 13 months, I lost 90 pounds. WW worked for me. I could eat whatever I wanted. I just needed to eat in smaller portions. And I loved being able to eat Chinese food or cake or really anything, just in moderation. But as soon as I hit that 90-pound mark, the complacency trap hit, and it hit hard. Between July and December 2018, I bounced back and forth between the same 2 pounds. Granted, during those months, I also took a cruise, took 3 trips to visit my family in South Dakota, and most devastatingly, my aunt was murdered in what appears to be a random act of violence. It was a rough 6 months, and if we're being honest, it's probably a testament to how much WW has changed me that I didn't regain a ton of weight during those months. But hey, by the time at the end of the year arrived, I was done. I was done being stuck at that weight. I knew what I was doing wasn't working. I wanted to lose another 40 pounds or so. Instead of really acknowledging that I wasn't really working the WW plan, I blamed the change to freestyle and that it just wasn't working for me. I decided to double track for a couple weeks, counting both WW points and calories. I learned in those 2 weeks that my portions of 0-point foods were out of control. I was having 4 to 5 servings of vegetables with dinner. Some nights I had 2 pieces of salmon because why not? It's 0. It turns out a piece of salmon has more than 300 calories. I weighed my chicken and man, 4-ounce serving of chicken is not a lot. I realized that by the time I was out of calories, I still had 7 to 10 WW points left, which meant I was eating those additional 7 to 10 points. I was eating enough calories to throw me into maintenance instead of weight loss. I decided at the time to switch to calories so I could learn portion control of the 0-point foods. I was still going to my WW workshops for accountability and because I love my Saturday Memphis crew. Over the last 3 months, I've cut myself down to 2 servings of vegetables at dinner, and I've cut my chicken down to 6 ounces because seriously, who eats only 4 ounces? I lost about 7 pounds in January and February, but I'm back to bouncing back between a couple of pounds. I started to analyze my eating again. It's true. I've learned portions for 0-point foods, but I've also allowed a lot of treats and desserts to wiggle their way back into my eating. And as delicious as they are, that's not what I want. I want the occasional treat, yes, but not the everyday treat. Well, I mean, I do, but and that's what I love about WW. I was allowed to have a treat if I worked it into my points. It's just so much easier to work in treats when counting calories than when counting points, so I allowed it to happen a lot more. So I've decided to come back to my roots and get back into tracking points. I think I've learned a lot about 0-point servings during these months of counting calories. I hope that knowledge will help me be successful with WW again. And WW will naturally help me cut back on my treats, which is where I want to be. I've struggled mentally over the last 9 months, but I'm still here. And on some days, I even believe in myself, and I can get to goal. And on those days that I don't believe, well, I got my wingman, my Memphis Saturday WW crew, and a couple other non-WW accountability buddies. I'll write again when I hit that elusive 100-pound mark. Out of Memphis, Tennessee, Stacy. Stacy, awesome way to describe the journey for so many of us. And so before I get too far into it, I want to acknowledge the devastating tragedy you had in your life with the passing of your aunt. Incredibly devastating. I can't even imagine. And my heart breaks for you and your entire family to have gone through that. And so in the middle of your journey, that, pops up completely unexpected. No one should have to adjust their journey based on that, but you did. And you're still an incredible inspiration because during that time, it would have been much easier just say, forget it and move on. But what you did is you did your best. And during that period of time, I'm sure there were days when you just didn't care. But you still are here and you're still connected to a community of support. So that is a testament to the WW program that yes, there's going to be things that come out of our life a million miles an hour and we may or may not be ready to handle them. But if we can change our mindset just a little bit, some of these things become a little more easier to deal with. So incredibly sorry for your loss. Like I said, I'm sorry again to your entire family. I am, however, I'm proud of you, right? And so you lost 90 pounds. You can't do that on accident. I've said that more than once on the show. You cannot lose 90 pounds on accident. So you started off strong. And so here's something that I got to start doing some research on because I got to try and figure this out. And I'd be curious to hear your thoughts and certainly shoot them to me in email. But when we start this journey, you started the journey 300.4 pounds, you said in the opening of the email. And when we start the journey at 300.4 pounds, we believe the marketing terms of you can eat whatever you want on WW. And that is entirely true. What has to happen, though, is somewhere in the journey, what we want has to change. And so nothing will ever be off limits. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is there will come a time in your life when you start making healthier decisions because of your weight loss. Starting at 300.4 pounds, losing 90 pounds, you're able to do that by still working in the Chinese food, still working in cake, still working in everything in moderation. Moderation is the key. I'm a big fan of moderation, and I 100% support that mindset. However, caveat to that is when we start off at a weight that gives us a lot of points and a lot of room to work the plan, as we start losing, and in your case, an incredible amount of weight, when you're now 90 pounds, you can't rely on the same quality of food that got you from 300 down to minus 90, right? So now you're leaner, you're healthier, you're more fit. Your body is needing real food. And so sometimes, a cake can work in, but the moderation piece really has to get really dialed back, and you have to increase the protein, you have to increase the healthy food so that your body can take it to the next level. You can't eat yourself thin on cake. You can, right? But you're not going to be healthy, and your body's not going to function properly. So a piece here and there, zero issue with that. That's not what I'm saying. But what I want you to know is that if you are working the moderation side of this program, which is the way to do it, there will come a time when you hit a significant weight loss goal where now moderation actually has to turn into substitution. You have to find things that are now new to you that are healthier. That's why the 0-point food list is there. It's so that it gives you an opportunity to try things that you wouldn't normally have had, and those things are better for you nutritionally. So I think that's one of the things. And of course, you certainly had, a lot to deal with during that time too. Double tracking. Let's talk about that for a little bit. I understand why people do it. I did it for a little bit. I don't do it anymore because I'm just more comfortable on the point side of things. The numbers are easier. I have a hard time when I start getting up to thousands and hundreds. I just can't do the math in my head. I can count to 25. That's pretty easy. So I like the point value, but there's something a little more important than just the smaller number. Not all points are equal. If I were to offer you, let's say you're counting calories, right? And you get, let's say 2,000 calories a day. At 10 o'clock at night, you've had 1,900 for the day. You have 100 calories left for the day. And I look at you and say, hey, Stacy, this apple is 100 calories. This cookie is 100 calories. Which would you rather have? Well, at 10 o'clock at night with 100 calories left in your budget, no one picks the apple. Why would you, right? It doesn't taste nearly as good as a cookie genetically engineered to taste good does. So what the beautiful thing about the WW plan is that it understands that not all calories are equal. And in your case specifically, when now you're down 90 pounds, you don't need a calorie deficit. What you need is a food quality change. And so now we do need to make the shift. So if you're double tracking, there will come a time when you can track the cake, you can track all that stuff, and you can have a calorie deficit, but it's not improving your overall health. And so that's where we're focused on. So everything that's 0 points, I understand, the salmon's 300 calories a slice or for a few ounces, and chicken, depending on the size of the breast. But the reality is if you're eating vegetables for dinner and you're eating salmon for dinner and you're getting healthy food, then you're probably going to be okay to some extent, regardless of the size. Where the danger is if you're eating 2 pieces of salmon, 4 servings of vegetables, but in the morning you're still having the cake, you're still having the cookies, you're still having the candy. Again, they're not off limits, but you're having more of them than you probably need more frequently than you need them. I agree with you. You said, I want the occasional treat. Well, yeah, we all do, right? And I get in the habit on occasion. There'll be habits for me where once I bring a treat in, I will have it 2 or 3 days in a row, and I know that's not good for me. And so I finally have to go, okay, I can't have it again. And so I have to choose moderation. For me, I have to eliminate foods from my own plan because I know I don't have the ability to control them. And then I can certainly work them in very, very, very rarely, but I always know that first bite leads to 2, leads to 3, and usually leads to 2 or 3 days. If I go have something that I haven't had in a while, there's a good chance that I start craving it even more. Your body craves what you start giving it often. So if you continually feed it healthy food, it starts craving the healthy food. If you continually feed it high food and high in fat, high in sugar, your body will continue to crave that. So I want you to work into and readjust your cravings by choosing water, choosing healthier food. You can do this. You really can do this. And I love what you said. You really, when you read back through your email, you're saying all of the right things. As delicious as they are, that's not what I want. What is it that you want? It's not a food. It's a feeling. You're chasing a feeling. That feeling comes from eating better. That feeling comes from eating right. That feeling comes from working out more. That feeling comes from mentally digging into the side of the journey that says, I am unstoppable. Whatever it is that's out there that to be done, I can do it. Stacy, I totally believe in you. I believe in you because you lost 90 pounds. I mean, I believe in everybody listening, but you lost 90 pounds. You can't do that on accident. So it makes it very easy for me to believe in you specifically in this instance. You have all the right tools. You have everything you need to make this happen. And you understand that the days that you don't believe in yourself, you have a supportive community, myself, and the Wise Wingman group that believe in you. Man, if that's not a recipe for success, I don't know what is. So get out there and go make it happen. Don't get stressed out when it's not working the way you want it. Find the things you're doing right. Do more of them. Keep it up, Stacy. Thank you so much for your note. Have a great evening, and we'll catch up soon. Out of Glendale, Arizona, Mary writes in, says, Dear FatDag, hey, I'm a patron and daily, almost podcast listener. This isn't a celebration or the kind of message you usually read, but I need to share these thoughts and feelings with someone who really gets it. Here I am again, in this place where I am so uncomfortable in my body. My energy is low. My clothes don't fit. I'm avoiding mirrors. I am overwhelmed by the enormity of the issue that I so desperately need to address. How did I let this happen again? 2 years ago, I worked so hard to get healthier. I lost almost 40 pounds and I was 4 pounds away from Wonderland. I was about halfway to goal. Then I quit practicing all the healthy habits that helped me along the way. Not all at once, but little by little, I gave it all away and gained it all back. So what's the answer? How do I get back on track for good this time? WW Online? Maybe add workshops? Forget WW altogether and try a different program? Do it on my own? Resign myself to being fat and uncomfortable for the rest of my life? There's a battle raging inside my head. The drill sergeant in me is pissed that we're going back here again. She can be very motivating at times, but right now she's just mean. WTF, Mary, look at yourself. You can't even fit in those size 18 stretch jeans you bought recently. Are you just going to keep buying bigger and bigger clothes? I'm so disappointed in you. I don't even want to look at you anymore. Well, the nurturer in me can be so soothing and encouraging, but right now her comforting suggestions all seem to lead towards food. It's okay. You've had a really stressful day. Just have some ice cream now. There's leftover Halloween candy in the break room. Go ahead. It's not going to make that much of a difference. We'll get back on track next week. Besides, it doesn't matter what you look like. Your family and friends love you no matter what. I feel like a deer in the headlights. I know I need to take action, but I'm immobilized by indecision. What's wrong with me? I make important decisions all the time. I know in my heart of hearts that WW is the way to go. Why can't I, or why won't I, do this for myself? FatDag, you asked if we believe in ourselves, and do I? Well, since I didn't immediately answer yes, I guess I don't right now. So here I am, 58 years old, tears running down my face, feeling extremely vulnerable and asking for someone to believe in me until I can believe in myself. With sincere appreciation, Mary, also known as Work It Like I'm Worth It. And P.S. Thank you to you and your beautiful family for your service to our country. Thanks for all that you do to help our community and for giving me a place to send my thoughts. I feel a little better just have written them down. So Oh, Mary, 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 Mary. The number one thing I need to address with you first is you're not doing anything wrong. There is nothing wrong with you. You are completely normal. You've got, folks, we have to stop with this cycle. We have to quit thinking that there is one way to do this and one way only, and if you can't do it that way, then you're a failure. It's not the way it works. This life comes at us 1,000,000 miles an hour. You could have pre-tracked for the week. You could have planned everything. You could have gone grocery shopping for the week. And then something's going to come in your life and completely derail it. You have to adjust on the spot often. And just because you choose incorrectly on occasion doesn't make you a failure. It doesn't say there's something wrong with you. What it says is you have an amazing life that constantly changes. And you constantly have to make adjustments. And so we got to get rid of that drill sergeant that's living in your head, and so I don't care in that regard. I think, you know this, right? I'm not a big fan of tough love. I understand there's a place for it, and I try and kind of wrap my arms around you, tell you I believe in you, tell you can do this, but I'm not going to say you suck for not doing it, right? I don't think that's the way this program works. I don't think that motivates anybody, and if it does, it's short term. Let's face it, who wants to be yelled at for the rest of your life? Even if it motivates you to do something right, if that's your motivation, when you get there, the yelling stops. It's kind of like, the Kentucky Derby. You start whipping the horse, if he's going to start running, and once you get to the finish line, you quit beating him, he quits running. So I don't want you to do that to yourself. I don't want you to sit there and whip yourself and beat yourself and get mad at yourself so that you run 1,000,000 miles an hour, and then you cross the finish line, you're lost. Right? So get rid of that mindset. Get rid of that negativity. Get rid of that there's a right way and a wrong way. And what I want you to understand is that the only way to do this is to do it every single day, adjust as necessary, and figure it out every single bite. Every bite is different. You can have amazing willpower at lunch, and all of a sudden 3 bites later, it's gone. Been there, right? You can have amazing willpower for a week, and all of a sudden the weekend comes and boom, gone. Doesn't mean something's wrong with you. What it means is you have to look at the places that you want to improve in your life and go, how can I make a plan to handle that situation differently next time? There's a good chance many of the scenarios that happen in our life that bring us back and back and back are things that will happen over and over again. So we have to plan for them. And the only way to plan for them is to acknowledge them when they're here, figure out what we did during that, and go, okay, yeah, so I get that. I went to a friend's house. I did do this. If I ever get invited back, here's what I would have done. Wow, if I would have done that. Okay, now, if I ever get invited back, that's what I'm doing. And now you start making a plan for all of these different scenarios. The nurturer inside of you, I love her, but we have to face some reality. The nurturer, as awesome as she is, and say, you've had a rough day, go ahead and have some cake, blah, blah. And yeah, your family does love you, and it doesn't matter. But the fact that you have family and friends that love you, then we deserve for you to be healthy so that you can love them back for the rest of your life. And that's your why. And that's why you kind of focus back into, okay, I really want to get this done because I want to be healthy. And so I don't care what you look like. What I care about is how you feel. I care about what your mind says inside. We've talked about this journey before. If you've lost 5 pounds on the program, or if you lost 200 pounds on the program, to me, mentally, it's the same. Right? It's not a competition. It's not about a number, And so, yeah, if you've lost 200 pounds, congratulations. That's an amazing work. If you've lost 5 pounds deliberately, congratulations. That's amazing work too. And to each of you, it's 100% of your weight loss journey. Think of that. So you don't compare yourself to other people. What you do is you say, okay, I'm at a place in my journey where I am putting me first. I'm learning as I'm going. I'm adjusting. You've proven to yourself you lost 40 pounds, so you know how to do this. You had success on the program. So when you say, what's the answer? Do I go back to WW? Do I quit? Do I go do what worked? However you lost 40 pounds, do that again. You don't need to give up on a program that was working for you. So don't go on your own. Don't resign yourself to being fat and uncomfortable for the rest of your life. What did you do to lose 40 pounds? Do that again. The battle inside your head will calm down. You'll get to the point where you start making plans and you start proving to yourself that you can do this. You start going like, I can do this. And I get that right now you're not there. I get that right now you may not believe that you can do this. But just like I said a little while ago, you lost 40 pounds. So you make it very easy for me to believe in you. So easy. 40 pounds is hard work. You did it. So if you're not there yet, that's okay. I believe in you. The wingman community, I'm positive they believe in you. Tell me what you're doing right, and let's continue doing all of that. 58 years old, tears running down your face. They should be tears of joy because you have an amazing life ahead of you and you are going to rock it. And at that point, we're going to jump up and down and celebrate. Folks, what is it that you're celebrating? This show, 100% driven by your email. Go ahead and send it in on air at fatdag.com. But if you send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions, I'll work them in as part of the show. That's how this whole thing works. You heard through what Mary just said is that just sending it down and having a place to send her thoughts, she feels better just writing it down. That's the power in this. And so get it written down, get it sent in, and make sure that we celebrate every aspect of it. I want you to be proud of what you're doing. I want you to be proud of the things you're doing right. I want other people to hear the things you're doing right, and I want people to hear how you're adjusting for the things that you can adjust to. When you do that, and we do that as a community, we are unstoppable. Folks, that's going to do it for this time. Remember now that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. I wish you good focus. Thank you for listening to the Wise Advice Podcast. Did you know for as little as $1 a month, you can take the next step as a wingman and support the show? Visit fatdag.com, click on Become a Patron today.